Like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who can bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GGD Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and they weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth off LGBT. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
Man, press 1 if y'all can hear me in the comments. Unbelievable notifications did not go out on this one this morning. Press 1 if you guys can hear me in the comment section. Salute to everybody that's tapping in. Got a mic check, 1 2 1 2. Y'all know where we at. Got a mic check. I have breaking news for you guys this morning, this afternoon, wherever you at. I know it's early. You understand what I'm saying? But y'all got to get up for this one. Y'all got to get up for this one. Oh, it's going down now. It is going down now. Oh, my God. Okay, so y'all can hear me? All right, bet. Let's get into it. It just went down, you guys. On national TV, it just went down. For you guys who don't know what's going on, I came in here the other day and I told you guys about the situation between, and I'm going to say it again, Jay-Z and Tony Buzbee. Jay-Z, basically, for you guys who don't know, let me go through this real quick. Tony Buzbee was referred a girl, right? At first, everybody thought it was Tony Buzbee who was the one who put the 1-800 number up there, and they thought Tony Buzbee was the one who referred this girl, right? As far as they thought he was the one who originally bought the case with Jay-Z in it. Well, yesterday, there was an article in the New York Times, or 2 days ago. There was a major article in the New York Times. We are one of the only ones that reported on this article in the New York Times. Shout out to the boy Diddy Docket because he posted on his thing. We're probably the only one on YouTube that reported on this article in the New York Times. This article was a bombshell article because this is what happened just now. Lord Jesus have mercy. Now, in this article, it went on to explain that it was not Tony Buzbee behind the 1-800 number. Because remember, Jay-Z and his lawyers were calling Tony Buzbee a 1-800 lawyer. Jay-Z was calling a 1-800 lawyer in the Rock Nation, comments where they were putting up. They were saying he was a lawyer in a cheap suit, and that basically they were slamming him in the way they said was bringing forth suits. And Jay-Z's lawyer accused him, and Jay-Z accused him and said that he was the one that pushed this girl to put Jay-Z's name in that case. Now, there was allegedly this girl came out that same day. Jay-Z filed a lawsuit in Alabama against Tony Buzbee, another one against Tony Buzbee, and against this girl. Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, came out and he said in the prior writing that Jay-Z didn't know who she was, blah, 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 blah. But Alex Spiro hinted back on December the 16th, 3 days after that girl did her interview on NBC. He hinted that they wasn't going to unmask her identity back on December the 16th. But in a writing on my bad, y'all. On a writing on December the 23rd, Jay-Z's lawyer put in the writing that, oh, well, Jay-Z doesn't know who she is even until this time. But everybody was asking questions like, excuse me, I'm a little sick. Everybody was asking questions like, how didn't he know if on December the 16th, almost a week earlier, when you did that press conference, you said you wasn't going to unmask that girl then. You didn't say you didn't know her. But let's fast forward, y'all. So then we come to the girl came out, put out a statement. The girl put out a statement and said that she was approached at her house and she was harassed. TMZ did a report on that. The TMZ did a report right here where the girl came out and the girl said that it was private investigators that came to her and she was scared that, they tried to press her. And, Jay-Z's lawyers came out and said that they had written statements from a private investigator who found this girl, right? Now, the private investigators allege that they didn't work for Jay-Z's lawyers. They allege that they just did this on their own, I guess, and found this girl. And they said that they recorded this girl admitting that she lied. Well, that same day, Tony Buzbee released that girl's statement, sworn signed statement that said that that was a lie, that she was harassed at her own home. Her parents were, basically, questioned, and that they were scared. She was afraid. And she said the reason why she dropped that case is because she was afraid. TMZ reported it right here. She said she revealed she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. She said she feared she'd be publicly outed and subject to public attacks. Now, Jay-Z is now suing Tony Buzbee and that woman, claiming that she admitted to making the whole R-word story up and told Buzbee it was bogus before they moved forward with the claims. But she says that's not the case, and Buzbee says Jay-Z's allegations are bogus. And Jay-Z's lawsuit, you guys, Jay-Z's lawsuit says, it's about to get to it. I'm just filling y'all in so y'all understand where we at right now. Jay-Z's lawsuit says that it was Tony Buzbee that allegedly pushed that girl forward to making those claims and putting his name in that lawsuit as well. And that's why he's suing Tony Buzbee. Because normally you couldn't sue a lawyer for plaintiff allegations unless, the lawyer acted in bad faith. And, Jay-Z is accusing Tony Buzbee of extortion and saying that Tony Buzbee, he was the one who pushed the girl to do the lawsuit. But then that article came out, and I told you guys, everybody slept on this article that came out in the New York Times. I did a video yesterday on this article, and I told you guys this. This article was explosive. The reason why this article was explosive, and it was in the New York Times, this article came out and explained it wasn't Tony Buzbee behind the 1-800 number. It wasn't Tony Buzbee behind all those ads online. It was the Ava Law Group and this man right here, Mr. Van Arsdale, Mr. AVA himself. He was the one who put those ads online, Andrew Van Arsdale, AVA. And he admitted it in this article that his company, he has an outside company that goes by the name of this, Reciprocity Industries. And what they do is they have done this for numerous major cases where they have hotlines and they have over 100 people dedicated to not only answering calls, but filtering and investigating these type of situations. So this went crazy. He also admitted in that article, you guys, that it was him. Now remember, Tony Buzbee told TMZ a few weeks ago, Tony Buzbee told TMZ that everything Jay-Z and his lawyers saying was a flat out false made up lie, that the Jane Doe called referring counsel, the Ava Law Group. So Tony Buzbee said, how in the hell can Jay-Z say I put this girl's name in it when this girl originally went with her claim with Diddy and Jay-Z's name in it to the Ava Law Group, not me? So how the hell could I advise her, tell her, oh, well, let's put Jay-Z in it? And that's what Jay-Z's lawsuit and the allegations from the PI who claimed they talked to this girl. They said she told them that Tony Buzbee told them to put it. But guess what, y'all? It's unbelievable now, because now it all just went down. And I'm going to tell you what just happened. And this is going to break the internet. Tony Buzbee said each assertion is flat out false and made up. Jane Doe called referring counsel the Ava Law Group and alleged she was assaulted by P. Diddy and Jay-Z before her case was ever referred to our firm. He went on to say those investigators likely didn't know that the paper trail would demonstrably prove what they say is false. So he's saying he had proof Then this is why this was so important, because it's going to take y'all to where we at today. This New York Times article was explosive because this New York Times article, it exposed everything. It exposed the real man that was behind that 1-800 number. It exposed the real law group, the Ava Law Group, who's ran by that man, Mr. Andrew Van Arsdale, who founded Reciprocity Industries, right? And you can see right there on the screen, it said it has grown into a legal call and services center with about 70 intake agents answering phones. And then they showed you the different ads that he put. But here's the thing right here, y'all. Just debunked everything that Jay-Z said in the story or his lawsuit, because, and the private investigator said, because they said it was Tony Buzbee that pushed, the girl said it was Tony Buzbee that pushed him. And we're going to talk about something else because I got the tape this morning. I got the tape and I'm going to talk about it right now. But also in that New York Times article, as you guys read that article, I gave y'all that link, that New York Times articles, Mr. Van Arsdale, AVA, they admitted that they have evidence that that woman came to them first with that claim. They said that woman came to them through Facebook ad with that claim, and they have the paper trail, and they have the evidence to prove that it wasn't Tony Buzbee she came to. If you read right there, it says an accuser becomes a defendant. The woman who accused Jay-Z, born Sean Carter, and Mr. Combs of R-word her when she was blank, first gave her account to Reciprocity last fall after responding to a Facebook ad, according to its founder itself, Mr. Van Arsdale, not Tony Buzbee. But guess what just happened this morning? Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, just came out this morning in an explosive interview on ABC, and now he's changed his words. Alex Spiro has now saying that Jay-Z's name was mentioned to a lawyer. But in your lawsuit, you're saying Tony Buzbee. Why not say Tony Buzbee now? You know why? Because Alex Spiro got caught. Because when that article from the New York Times came out and they found out that it wasn't Tony Buzbee behind that 1-800 number. It wasn't Tony Buzbee behind Reciprocity Industries. It was the Ava Law Group that originally got that girl's claim. Now everything has changed. And so this morning, it just went down, and you better damn well smash the like button, share, and subscribe. Because Jay-Z's lawyer just went, Alex Spiro, on ABC with a tape, an alleged tape of this girl's confession. Now, who says the tape has been authenticated by who? Nobody says the tape is authenticated by anybody. It's just Jay-Z's lawyer saying that this is the tape. Not only that, Jay-Z's lawyer saying that this is a confession, this is a tape, it is what it is. And they played the excerpts of that tape. And I'm going to play it for you right now. But then something happened after he did that. Something happened after Alex Spiro did that. And I want y'all to see, because if you look at Jay-Z's lawsuit and you look at those writings, remember, everybody said that girl was lying. Everybody said that girl made it up. They said she made it up, that it was no way Jay-Z could have been in this place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Spiro this morning said that the girl told the PI, that Jay-Z was at that place, but he didn't do anything to her. You don't have to believe me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play the tape for y'all, and I'm going to tell y'all this right now. See, they demonized, and I'm talking about all of y'all on YouTube, a lot of y'all demonized that girl and said that girl made this whole story up. There was no after party with them there present, none of this stuff. The private investigator put in their writing that this girl allegedly told them that Jay-Z and Diddy was at the same after party, but Jay-Z did nothing to her. Watch this right here. Let's press play.
ABC's exclusive interview with Jay-Z's attorney. The hip-hop superstar is now suing a woman for defamation, saying she falsely accused him of assault. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursi spoke with him. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. The woman who accused Jay-Z of sexual assault has already dropped her lawsuit. But now, for the first time, you're going to hear the story behind the bombshell accusation that has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z's lawyer says it should put to rest any doubt about his innocence. This morning, the woman who said she was 13 when Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
Jay-Z was just saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him. With Jay-Z. Buzbee did? Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News.
Now,
Interview with Jay-Z.
now, hold on, y'all. Let me stop it right there. Shit. Ain't no fucking way Let me stop it right there. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get that back. Hold on. I gotta get that back. Hold on, y'all. My bad. Man, I accidentally just knocked that page off. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. My bad. Let me get this right back. My bad, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I'll be damned. Hold on. Hold on 1 second, you guys. I cannot believe I just knocked this thing off. Hold on. We finna get to it right now. Hold on. Don't y'all go nowhere. Don't y'all go nowhere. Man, where in the blue hell did I put this thing at? Hold on. Hold on 1 second, you guys. One second. Let me see. Man, where I just put this goddamn on? Where did I just put this thing in? Hold on. This is unbelievable. I just knocked this shit off my screen. Y'all still wait right here, y'all. Don't go nowhere. I cannot believe I just did this, man. Man, I'm on cap, man. What the hell is wrong with me? Hold on, y'all. I'm about to get it right back. I'm on hella cap, man. No, I'm on hella cap. All right, hold on. Hold on. Don't y'all go nowhere. I'm about to get through this tape. So, as I was saying to you guys, just wait 1 second, y'all. I'm about to get it up here. I cannot believe I knocked that thing off. Man, what the hell is going on with me? Man, I'm on cap, y'all. I'm on cap. I'm tripping, man. I'm tripping. Hold on. I think it was under celebrities or something like that? I think that's what it was under. 1 second, y'all. I think it was under that, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I can't believe I just erased this junk, man. Don't y'all go nowhere. This junk gonna break the internet right here. This gonna break the internet. I just had this junk. How in the blue hell did I lose this? I just hit one button and it completely went off the screen. Man, bro. That junk got me fully ticked off right now. All right. So, anyways, let me explain to y'all what's going on while I try to find this. So, Alex Spiro played a tape, and they're alleging that to be the girl. But then Tony Buzbee, ABC played a tape from Tony Buzbee with the girl on the recording, and the girl says that no, that she never said that to those people. The girl stands on her story, and they played that tape on CBS. And now Alex Spiro is saying a lawyer. He's not saying Tony Buzbee. He's saying a lawyer now. But in the lawsuit, they're saying it was Tony Buzbee. But now on national TV, Alex Spiro is saying a lawyer. You know? That's what they're saying right now. Let me put this up. Hold on, you guys. This is unbelievable, man. I just had this shit on my screen. This is, I can't believe this shit, man. This is unbelievable. Okay, I know what I can do. Hold on, y'all. I can find it like this. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Because y'all see it right there on the screen. Y'all see it right there on the screen, right? Here we go, right here. I got it, y'all. Got it. Okay, my bad, y'all. My bad, everybody. So let's get back to it. I found it again. Let's get back to it, you guys. So now, all right. Let me put this back on the screen. Here we go, right here.
About his innocence. This morning, the woman who said she was 13 when Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z was you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him. With Jay-Z. Buzbee did? Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively obtained a minute-long excerpt of the recording made days after the woman, identified as Jane Doe, permanently dropped her lawsuit against both Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors.
Now, stop right there. So Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, just played that tape on ABC this morning. Good Morning America, right? On ABC. He just played that tape. But watch what happened, y'all. Listen to what he says. He's not saying. The tape says that she says Tony Buzbee pushed her. How could that be true when Vincent Van Arsdale has evidence? He is the one who owns Reciprocity Industries from Ava Law Group that had that 1-800 number. And they been had a call center and hotline that he's the founder of, not Tony Buzbee. And he admitted in that New York Times article the other day that she bought her account, alleging Jay-Z and Diddy, to his company, Reciprocity Industries, last fall in a Facebook ad. That's why when Tony Buzbee told TMZ that Jay-Z's lawyers are lying, saying I put her name in it, and that's not true, he says, because I didn't even find this girl. The people who found her was Ava Law Group. Ava Law Group was the one who referred her. And the man who runs Ava Law Group Andrew Van Arsdale. He founded Reciprocity Industries, who's in charge of that 1-800 number, call center, where they have damn near 100 people on staff. But this gets worse, y'all. It gets deeper, because this shit's finna get deep right now. Listen to what Alex Spiro just said on national TV this morning.
And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself. She says, in no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
By a lawyer? What do you mean by a lawyer? Alex Spiro changed his words from what they put in the lawsuit. Say Tony Buzbee. They can't say Tony Buzbee, in my opinion. Why can't they say Tony Buzbee? Because Mr. Van Arsdale says they have paper trail and evidence through their systems that Tony Buzbee was telling the truth. That girl took her story to the Ava Law Group first. So now, peep what Alex Spiro said. He didn't say Tony Buzbee, even though the girl is on tape saying, allegedly saying Tony Buzbee. But it gets deeper. It gets deeper than this, y'all. It gets deeper than this. Let's keep going.
Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself. She says, in no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
The accuser's lawyer, Tony Buzbee, called it a blatant.
Now listen to what he says about Tony Buzbee. Let's get to that right now.
Pushed to include him by a lawyer.
The accuser's lawyer, Tony Buzbee, called it a blatant lie that he pushed Jane Doe to sue Jay-Z, and he sent us this recording of a phone call with his client.
Now, Tony Buzbee called the girl, and Tony Buzbee recorded his conversation with the girl. And ABC had that recording too. And this is what ABC put on that recording. Hold on, you guys. This is what ABC put on that recording, you guys. Now, let's talk about that right now. Now, remember, neither one of these two recordings have been authenticated yet. So we don't know what is what. Alex Spiro says, hey, our tape is real. Tony Buzbee says, this is my client. Our tape is real. Plus, she wasn't originally sent to me with that complaint with Jay-Z in it. So now it made me think that Alex Spiro is now not even saying Tony Buzbee's name as far as he says a lawyer. What do you mean a lawyer? And y'all, you're suing Tony Buzbee, saying that Tony Buzbee pushed the girl, and then you're using a statement from a private investigator saying that the girl said it was Tony Buzbee. So why won't you say that you're suing her? Why are you saying now a lawyer? Doesn't make any sense, does it? But hey, what does make sense now? But we're going to get to this right now. Right? Now let's get to this right now.
In no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
The accuser's lawyer, Tony Buzbee, called it a blatant lie that he pushed Jane Doe to sue Jay-Z, and he sent us this recording of a phone call with his client.
They say that they have you on tape denying that Jay-Z assaulted you. Is that true?
No. I don't. I never said that.
Okay. They also say that you told them, and they have it on tape, that I, Tony Buzbee, told you to came up with this plan and told you to say that Jay-Z assaulted you so you would get more money.
No.
Jane Doe said in a court filing, although I ultimately chose not to pursue them, I stand by my claims. She says in a sworn declaration that she felt intimidated and terrified at being confronted by these two individuals on my doorstep.
Was she coerced in any way? Of course not. They did not coerce her.
Now, how does he know that? This is the question I have right there. How does Alex Spiro know that? If the private investigators are saying that he didn't hire them. In the sworn statement, the PI said, the girl said that I wasn't hired by Jay-Z or his lawyer. So how does Jay-Z or his lawyer know under what terms this alleged recording was done? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Listen to what he said. He talking like he was there. Spiro talking like he was right there and he know for a fact. But in the writing it says, from the statement, oh, well, we wasn't hired by Spiro. We wasn't hired by Jay-Z. I guess they just good Samaritans and doing work for free. Stop playing with the people, man.
Individuals on my doorstep. Was she coerced in any way? Of course not. They did not coerce her, promise or threaten her in any way, shape, or form. She voluntarily met and spoke to them, and she told them her truth, which was, under no circumstances did Mr. Carter do this. And number two, the only reason he's even involved in this is she was pushed to introduce him by a lawyer.
Does your client know Jane Doe?
No.
Ever met her?
Mr. Carter doesn't know Jane Doe, never met Jane Doe. There's no truth to any of this.
But somehow I beat them charges like Rocky.
One of the world's best-selling artists with more than 140 million albums sold, Jay-Z is also husband to Beyonce and a father of 3.
Like we from Lagos, Mansa Musa reincarnated. Me on a level that's
He vehemently denied the allegations at the outset. He spoke about the painful impact that they had, especially on his kids. How as a father, has he tried to handle this?
It's tough to hear a false lie said about you, spread through the internet, and affecting your children. It's tough on him. It's tough on anybody. But what he does is he proves himself innocent. Today is hopefully the final chapter in that, and then they're going to move forward. That's what Jay does.
Jay-Z is now suing Jane Doe and her lawyer for defamation. Why not let it lie? The case is gone.
The truth had to fully come out. This person cannot be allowed to sort of hide from the reality that this was a false accusation.
While the accuser's lawsuit against Jay-Z and Sean Combs was dismissed, Combs still faces a number of other civil claims from other accusers, which he denies.
Now, let's go back to this part. And I'm mad that ABC did not press Alex Spiro on this part. So Alex Spiro's telling us, first of all, the private investigator said, we're not hired by Jay-Z or his lawyer. I wasn't hired by it. That's what the private investigator said in his statement. So the private investigator said that in his statement. How in the hell does Alex Spiro know that how this confession was, alleged confession was collected? Under what terms? Because he's up there like, no, she wasn't coerced, she wasn't this, she straight up did this. How? Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, how the hell are we supposed to only believe part of what the private investigator said, not the other part? They all ran around social media and all of YouTube demonizing that girl, saying her whole story was a lie. But I'm going to say this to y'all right here. The private investigator says that the girl told her that Jay-Z was at that party with Diddy. Alex Spiro didn't talk about that. I thought Jay-Z wasn't nowhere near that party. I thought it wasn't no party. I thought it wasn't no house. I thought all that shit was a lie. But in the statement from the private investigator, they say that that girl allegedly told the private investigator that, oh, Jay-Z and Diddy were at the same party, but Jay-Z didn't do anything to me. So was Jay-Z at the party or not? Because if Jay-Z wasn't at the party and the private investigator put that in their statement, how can you take one part of what the girl says is true if the other part isn't true? Once again, listen to this again. Bro, you got to listen to this. bro, listen, this is serious business right here, bro. Because somebody lying, bro. Somebody ethical career is on the line right here, bro. Let me say it again. Somebody's ethical career, and I'm talking about Tony Buzbee or Alex Sparrow, is on the line. Somebody's ethical career is on the line. I'm talking about, bro, you talking about some shit so deep. One of these lawyers is going to be disbarred forever, bro. If the other one can prove. I'm telling y'all this, bro. I'm telling y'all this. Because Tony Buzbee called that girl, and ABC played that tape too.
ABC's exclusive interview with Jay-Z's attorney. The hip-hop superstar is now suing a woman for defamation, saying she falsely accused him of assault. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursi spoke with him. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. The woman who accused Jay-Z of sexual assault has already dropped her lawsuit. But now, for the first time, you're going to hear the story behind the bombshell accusation that has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z's lawyer says it should put to rest any doubt about his innocence. This morning, the woman who said she was 13 when Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z was, you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do.
Listen, right there. They played the recording. If that girl is saying that in that recording, oh, he was there. Jay-Z's attorney said, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Sparrow, said that the girl wasn't coerced. Oh, none of that. There was no coercion or any of those things. No coercion. So is that part true? What? Because if one part is a lie, you can't take any other whole statement, alleged statement. Because right there, they just played a recording, and ABC did not ask him. They didn't say, hey, well, this girl said that Jay-Z was there, but you guys, you did a whole press conference saying that there's no way there could even be a house. Boy, Tony Buzbee gonna feast. Tony Buzbee's gonna feast. Feast. And to the dude who says you can't say the statement for her. I'm not saying a statement for her, sir. I'll let her statement play by itself.
The Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z was, you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was
there.
there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is all...
Yeah. They did a whole press conference. All these people on YouTube, I'm telling y'all right now, they better take them videos down. All them people saying this girl was a liar, defaming her name, saying that there was no such thing as a house, all this other stuff. Man, I try to tell y'all, man. I try to tell y'all. And now Alex Sparrow, he didn't say Tony Buzbee on TV. He said a lawyer. You know why? Because I told y'all this. You guys got to read the paperwork. Tony Buzbee's out here playing chess with these niggas, man. They did the article. They did the article in the New York Times. Look, it's right there on your screen. Tony Buzbee is surgical with that thing. They went to New York to the biggest publication and did that article in the New York Times. Major article where they exposed the truth behind that 1-800 number and who was accepting all those calls and ran those calls. Basically, Tony Buzbee, it's like this, y'all. It's like a football game, right? What are you talking about, Ticket? The accuser is the center who snaps the ball. They snap it to the quarterback. The quarterback wasn't Tony Buzbee. See, that's the part that they didn't know at first. They thought it was Buzbee because Buzbee's face and the Buzbee law firm was plastered on that paper. But really, it was the Ava Law Group. Tony Buzbee was the running back. He was the guy they handed the ball off to. The quarterback who originally had the ball was him, Andrew Van Arsdale. He's the guy who founded Reciprocity Industries as a legal advertising firm. So Jay-Z's lawsuit and the girl's allegations make no sense because Jay-Z's lawsuit is accusing Tony Buzbee of putting Jay-Z's name in this, when indeed this New York Times article spells out how they have evidence and paperwork evidence that that girl, through a Facebook ad like this, contacted them last fall, Andrew Van Arsdale, with the accusations against Diddy and Jay-Z originally. So the center snaps the ball to the quarterback. The quarterback was this guy, not this guy, who they mistaked it for. The quarterback then makes a decision on who he gonna get a ball to. Because if you read about Reciprocity Industries, what they do is they have a major hotline for these type of situations. They did it with the Boy Scout situation when they had all those lawsuits against the Boy Scouts. And what they do is when they have so many claimants, they'll hand 100 to this law firm, 200 to this law firm. They'll keep 100 for their law firm. Somebody came in here yesterday and said, oh, well, why would they give Tony Buzbee the biggest name? You don't know who the biggest name is. That was just a name that was unveiled. And they said, oh, well, why is some bigger names coming out? Well, Ray J told y'all on News Nation. He had already heard of people that was settling, and a lot of those celebrities that was settling lawsuits. Go look at the interview, it's still online. So if you settle, you're not going to be heard. That's why a lot of people stay out of lawsuits, because they'll settle and they'll keep their names out and they'll remain anonymous. Period. Right? So they was diabolical for this because they put this right dead smack in the New York Times. And 2 days later, Alex Spiro goes to ABC News because he knows Tony Buzbee brought that heat with this article. He goes to ABC News, right? And Tony Buzbee seems to have an answer every single time. Think about this, y'all. Think about this. I told y'all they do it bigger in Texas. And Tony Buzbee told TMZ that each assertion that he's talking about Jay-Z's legal team and them private investigators is a flat out false and made up. He said that Jane Doe called referring counsel, the Ava Law Group, and alleged she was assaulted by P. Diddy and Jay-Z before her case was ever referred to our firm. So how in the blue hell could Tony Buzbee tell that girl, hey, we need to put Jay-Z's name in this, if when he got the case, Jay-Z's name was already in it, which is backed by Mr. Van Arsdale's records? Because Mr. Van Arsdale said in this article that you guys see on y'all screen, that's why I told y'all need to go read that article. Y'all need to go read that article. Reading is very important. He talked about how he approached Tony Buzbee in that New York Times article. He approached Tony Buzbee with those cases, with what you call is Jay-Z's name in it, right? She said she withdrew because she was being harassed and she didn't want to go through that. She told TMZ that. She told TMZ she was terrified. She told TMZ that she dropped that lawsuit because she was afraid of him and his supporters and the reaction. She said she was afraid, frightened by the reaction, according to the reports from TMZ. But the question y'all need to be asking is this question right here. Let's just say that it was true what Alex Spiro said about her testimony being true on that alleged tape from those private investigators that went to her home. So is it true that Tony Buzbee, because everybody was wondering why that case didn't get dropped by the judge or didn't get thrown out. Was Tony Buzbee going to come out with an ace and proof that there was a house, there was a party, and he was able to allegedly put Jay-Z at that scene? Because the tape that Alex Spiro presented to ABC News, there on that tape, the private investigator that they're using in their case says, oh, well, Jay-Z was there, but he didn't do nothing. What do you mean? Alex Spiro did a whole PowerPoint presentation showing how Jay-Z couldn't have been there. That girl got demonized. When everybody thought that she was just making the whole story up and lying. Play it again, Ticket.
The Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it?
You saying Jay-Z, he was definitely there? Now, this is the alleged questions that they're putting out on the tape. On this alleged tape where this girl made this confession that Jay-Z did nothing to her. So we're to believe that. Now we're to believe that Alex Spiro, what he said wasn't true at the PowerPoint presentation? Because he said it was impossible. There was no house in New York. There was none of this type of stuff. That's what Spiro said. Go back and listen to the press conference. December the 16th. It's on YouTube.
The Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it? Or he was just...
He was there.
He was there. He was there. Desmond Cake says, welcome to the Tony Buzbee channel. No, Desmond Cake. Welcome to the Truth channel, sir. Welcome to the We Tell the Truth over here, sir. So sit down and shut the hell up, boy. Jag, what up? Sit down and shut the hell up, boy. The hell you coming over here running your mouth for, fool? You don't see this on tape? I thought Alex Spiro said, don't make me play that PowerPoint presentation, fool. I thought Jay-Z's lawyer said that it was impossible. It was no house. That this was completely fabricated. Is that not what he said at that press conference? When he did the PowerPoint presentation? Now, all of a sudden, they're using a PI's, and the private investigator said, oh, we wasn't hired by Jay-Z or his lawyers. Who the hell y'all know out here doing PI work for free? Tell me this. They ain't asked no question about who hired the PI, who was behind the PI. Did he find out who hired the PI? What was the purpose of the PI being hired? Have the PI been vetted? None of that. None of that. But I know this much. that girl, allegedly, in the tape Alex Spiro presented, said he was there. But then they tried to say, oh, but he didn't do nothing. Hold on. So, because see, everybody's opinion would have changed. See, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. See, I live on truth, honor, dignity, morals, and respect. Everybody's opinion would have changed. Before the case was dismissed, if Alex Spiro would have came out and did that PowerPoint presentation, and then Tony Buzbee would have came out with a royal flush and said, oh no, we have the evidence that he definitely was there. Everybody, forget the allegation. Everybody's opinion would have instantly changed. Because they would say, hold on, bro. Y'all said they wasn't there. So which part of this private investigator's recording is true or false? They didn't even ask him about that. They didn't even ask him. Now, does this mean that Jay-Z's guilty? He did this? No, it doesn't. But it questions this tape, because how can you believe one part of the tape if another part of the tape you've already spoken about and basically stated that, hey man, this was impossible, that this event could have occurred? I didn't hear Alex Spiro come out and say, hey, Jay-Z was there, but he didn't do anything. I didn't hear him say that. Go back and listen to that press conference. And then listen to what Alex Spiro said. Why he didn't say Tony Buzbee's name today. When he says a lawyer. You know why? Because he saw that article in the New York Times. Tony Buzbee done put that article in the New York Times. Straight ether. Straight ether. They put that article in the New York Times to prove a point. Not in the Houston Chronicles. None of that. They went to New York City on that ass. And in that article, that's why I told y'all, reading is fundamental. In that article, they proved it wasn't Tony Buzbee that fielded that call. I told you guys, y'all better do y'all research. It was Andrew Van Arsdale, AVA, who was behind all those ads on Facebook and who was behind that 1-800 hotline through his company, Reciprocity Industries. And in that article, it talked about all of it. It talked about all of it. Read the third paragraph, y'all. Their employer, Reciprocity Industries, is a legal services company located in a low-slung building in Billings, Montana, more than 2,000 miles from the Brooklyn jail, where Mr. Combs awaits trial on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. For years, the company has helped see litigation by fielding complaints from people hurt by natural disasters, weed killers, or abusive clergy. It goes on. Reciprocity Industries, however, did not enter the Combs case because it was approached by people they had been abused, according to Andrew Van Arsdale, the lawyer in charge of the company. It entered, he said, after he noted an explosive lawsuit had been filed by a former girlfriend of Combs that the music mogul had settled it the next day. And I quote, "Predators just don't do it to one person," Mr. Van Arsdale said in an interview. "They do it to many people." Within days, he said his firm had taken out his first social media ad asking people about their interactions with Mr. Combs. His firm. Within days, he said. This ethers every allegation that was against Tony Buzbee. This ethers every allegation against Tony Buzbee. Reciprocity, which Mr. Arsdale operates with a friend from high school, a software engineer, does not actually file mass tort lawsuits. It assists them by collecting and assessing complaints and turning them over to client law firms or his own law firm, which is a separate company, to litigate. Mr. Van Arsdale has been in the legal advertising business since 2006, viewing his whole career as devoted to getting people access to the justice system. He decided to become a lawyer and passed the bar in 2018. Shortly after, he was asked to join his first sexual abuse case, the mass tort in which the Boy Scouts organization was accused of failing to protect those youngins. Mr. Van Arsdale and his colleagues took out TV spots in search of potential plaintiffs. It took 3 weeks of ads to even get the first case, he said. They did this for the Boy Scouts case. So when they called Tony Buzbee a 1-800 lawyer, I told y'all, it wasn't even Tony Busbee's number. When people were saying, Tony Buzbee didn't do his job, he didn't vet these people properly, that's a god-daggone lie. Because if you read through this entire New York Times article, they go through the entire vetting process and how they work. Read the last paragraph. Mr. Van Arsdale and his colleagues took out television spots in search of potential plaintiffs. It took 3 weeks of ads to even get the first case, he said. As the calls and cases rolled in, Mr. Van Arsdale hired more staff. Today, Reciprocity employs roughly 70 employees to answer the phones 24/7 and more than 30 others to further develop potential cases. That's 100 employees. This man got 100 employees in a call center that's dedicated to stuff like this. But nobody knew. They all blasted Tony Buzbee like he came up with this 1-800 number to tear down Jay-Z and Diddy, and it wasn't the truth. That company been doing these types of things as far as these big types of lawsuits and stuff like that, where it's got a lot of people that are calling in and stuff like that, or they will create lines for these people to call in. Nobody knew that. It's all right here in the papers. New York Times, baby. An accuser becomes a defendant. The woman who accused Jay-Z, born Sean Carter and Mr. Combs of blanking her when she was blank, first gave her account to Reciprocity last fall after responding to a Facebook ad. According to Mr. Van Arsdale, not Tony Buzbee. Read on, y'all. Excuse me. Read on, y'all. Read what it says right there. All of the more than 26,000 contacts related to the Combs cases are organized in a database. More than 600 came to be viewed as potential cases. Mr. Van Arsdale said, others, he said, were often found to be from pranksters or people who view themselves as witnesses or who had called to complain about something else. Some 200 files were sent on to Mr. Buzbee's firm, where Mr. Buzbee said he has lawyers and former police personnel who continue to vet those claims. And that's after Mr. Van Arsdale spoke about how they go through a vetting process. Read the last paragraph. Then keep reading. How they go through these allegations. How he approached Tony Buzbee with this case. And then you see right there, he says, you're going to have scam artists out there, right? He said in the interview, you're going to have crank callers. And that's just a part of it, right? Question mark. But you need to have the proper processes and procedures in place to try to stomp them out. A questionnaire from a call is reviewed by a second employee who decides whether to pass it on to litigation support. There, staffers gather more information and test whether an account is consistent, Mr. Van Arsdale said. People who respond to social media ads online are called by agents who walk them through a questionnaire. Some contacts have come in through an Arizona law firm that is behind a website urging users to see if you qualify to join the Combs litigation. The firm is paid a referral fee for successful claims, Mr. Van Arsdale said. Claims that survive the weed out process are sent to Mr. Van Arsdale's law firm, which is exactly what Tony Buzbee says they have proof of. That this girl called with a claim against Diddy and Jay-Z. She went through the Facebook ad. They say they have the evidence of that. Then it was sent to AVA law firm. Read how it went down. Claims that survived the weed out process. So they have a whole process that you got to go through just to get to the law firm. Then it says claims that survived the weed out process are sent to Mr. Van Arsdale's law firm, which is about a 15-minute drive away. Their lawyers seek further corroboration, including witness testimony and police or medical records, he said. So they're getting all these things. And then when he passed it on to Tony Buzbee further had people investigating, even after those claims were already investigated and vetted. So Tony Buzbee in the court of law, he's going to get off easy, because all he has to do is show evidence of what he told TMZ, which now with this being put out here in the New York Times, this big ass article that they put out here 2 days ago, it proves that Tony Buzbee he was not the one behind the 1-800 number. He was just one of the many law firms that Reciprocity Industries refer clients and people who have been vetted to these different law firms that they partner with. So that is why today, if you listen to Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, on national TV this morning, Alex Spiro didn't say Tony Buzbee's name. Oh, well, it was Tony Buzbee who referred him. They were going so hard at Tony Buzbee. He just said a lawyer because they got caught. Because they didn't know. Because everybody thought when Tony Buzbee did that press conference, they said, look at this dude with his 1-800 number behind him. He a 1-800 lawyer. That wasn't his number. The only thing Tony Buzbee was doing was standing up there on behalf of the cases that were sent to him. They should have read Ava Law Group and investigated who in the hell is Ava Law Group. Because Ava Law Group, and this is how bosses work. Real bosses lay in the cut like that. So the real boss, he's laying in the cut, fielding all those calls. Team of 100. Everybody was like, oh, how could Tony Buzbee, how could he vet all those cases, man? Ain't no way he could vet all those cases in that short of time. They got 100 people on staff. They got 70 people taking calls, then 30 more people working to vet these calls, to even see if they can get to or even point to where now the law firms will vet it. And then people say, oh, they racist. They just doing this for Diddy. No, they didn't. They been did this. He's had this company since 2006. They've been doing this for all those other big cases. They did it for the Boy Scouts case. They had over 11,000 plaintiffs in that case, in that sexual abuse case. Look it up. Nobody knew because these mofos don't read. They just come on YouTube and run their candy ass mouths. Oh, Tony Buzbee doesn't know what he's doing. He's tricking his case. No. Know your role and shut your mouth. So now you don't hear Alex Spiro saying, and I believe they're going to have to drop Tony Buzbee from that lawsuit now. Because now that this evidence is out that it wasn't Tony Buzbee, who even originally brought Jay-Z's name into this. When Tony Buzbee was given the case, the man himself admitted that they got that case and they gave it to Tony Buzbee. With 200 other files that they gave. Read the last paragraph. That's why Tony Buzbee went and put this shit in the New York Times. So plaster it out in front of the world and embarrass. I believe Tony Buzbee did this to embarrass Alex Spiro and them. And I told y'all, them lawyers from Texas, I tried to tell y'all this. When Spiro came out and did that press conference, 3 days after that girl went on that interview, I told y'all, and everybody sat up here and ran their mouth. And Tisa, I got love for you, girl, but you was wrong what you said about Tony Buzbee didn't know what he was doing when he did that press conference on TV. That man knew exactly what he was doing. The only thing Tony Buzbee didn't know is what old girl was going to freeze up and be afraid in the end because of all that pressure. Tony Buzbee was weeding them out. Tony Buzbee had a royal flush in his hand. So when Tony Buzbee pulled them out, they did exactly what Tony Buzbee wanted them to do, which is go out and deny everything publicly. Because what Tony Buzbee was going to do next when it went to discovery was drop the eighth, allegedly. And I believe Tony Buzbee was going to try to show proof that could place Jay-Z at this place, which would have destroyed everything that Alex Spiro said in that press conference. And if you think about it, listen. In this alleged tape that Alex Spiro presented to ABC, the girl says in the tape, allegedly, that Jay-Z was there. Press play.
The woman who said she was 13 when Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z was, you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do.
He was just there. How can Alex Spiro use this to say, hey, man, this is a confession? The girl said he was there. But you said in your press conference that there was no way that this... So which one is it? Was there a party? Was he there and didn't do nothing? Or there's no possibility there was no party over there? Which one is it? These are the questions I think they should have asked. I'm going to play this in its entirety, and I want y'all to hear what Alex Spiro said when they asked him. He didn't say Tony Buzbee. He said a lawyer. Spiro saw that New York Times article. They can't push this narrative no more that Tony Buzbee's this 1-800 lawyer out here looking for clients, because it wasn't Tony Buzbee. It wasn't Buzbee. It was him. It was Andrew Van Arsdale. Oh man, this is like some shit on The Wire, where you think somebody's the boss, but they ain't the real boss. That mofo Greek is the boss. Oh, the beef I cook. Tony Buzbee out here playing chess. Man. Let's let it roll. So which one of her statements is true from the private investigator? Again, there's a lot of questions that got to be asked. How does Alex Spiro know that these private investigators did all this under good faith if they weren't hired by him? The private investigator said in her statement that she was not hired by Alex Spiro or Jay-Z or any of Jay-Z's attorneys. Who hired her? Nobody even asked, well, who hired this firm? What the hell type of reporting they doing? Nobody asked who hired the firm. Nobody asked how in the hell do you know for sure that this girl wasn't under some type of duress if this tape is real? How do you know any of these things? Spiral just said basically take my word for it. That's basically what he's saying. I'm going to play their words, not mine.
The Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z was, you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him.
With Jay-Z. Buzbee did?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively.
How could Buzbee be the one that pushed you to go towards Jay-Z when they have evidence in the filings and probably on tape? Because remember, Reciprocities, they record everything. So when she contacted them through that Facebook ad, they called her back and took her claim. When they called her back and took her claim, they're saying they have it on paperwork that she came in her claim with Jay-Z and Diddy. So how could Tony Buzbee push you when Tony Buzbee was nowhere near the picture at this time? This was last fall. Tony Buzbee was nowhere in the picture with you. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But Buzbee pushed you to put Jay-Z in this. How? I'm guaranteeing y'all they're gonna show evidence and this girl on tape. Because remember, when you call, those calls are all recorded when you make those claims. If you call in place and make those claims, they got you recorded and they have your data. It says it in the article how they have all these people's data that come make these claims from these ads. And they say she saw the ad on Facebook. So that means they got the paper trail. And they will prove, in my opinion, that not only did she have that, click that ad, but they will prove that when they called her originally, that's going to be on tape. That's why Tony Buzbee told TMZ what he told them. Each assertion is flat out false and made up. Jane Doe called referring counsel, the Ava Law Group, and alleged she was assaulted by P. Diddy and Jay-Z before her case was ever referred to our firm. Those investigators likely did not know that the paper trail would demonstratively prove what they say to be false, is what Tony Buzbee said. All Tony Buzbee's going to have to do in this case is show any judge that girl took those claims with Jay-Z and Diddy to Ava Law Group first. And Ava Law Group has to have that paperwork on file with date. And they more than likely have recording of her call as well when she originally called. Or when they originally spoke to her, excuse me. Let's keep going. And I'm going to let it play through. And I want y'all to listen to what Alex says. Alex, he ain't saying Tony Buzbee now. He's saying a lawyer now. The reason why he's saying a lawyer, because Tony Buzbee and them dropped that goddamn article in the New York Times proving that Tony Buzbee was not the one behind that 1-800 number.
But Jay-Z was, you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him.
With Jay-Z? Buzbee did?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively obtained a minute-long excerpt of the recording made days after the woman identified as Jane Doe permanently dropped her lawsuit against both Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself.
Time out. Spyro said people around Jay-Z. He said they asked for her to be interviewed. Rewind that part again. He said people around her. That's what Spyro said. But in the writing, the private investigator said she wasn't hired by any of Jay-Z's lawyers or Jay-Z. Listen to what Spyro just said. When they asked him, bro, the case was dismissed. Why are you guys still going forward with this? Listen to what he said.
Buzbee did?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively obtained a minute-long excerpt of the recording made days after the woman identified as Jane Doe permanently dropped her lawsuit against both Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself.
So they asked for her to be interviewed. So that means that the statement, what do you mean? I thought JC didn't know anything. I thought y'all didn't have anything to do with these investigators. Boy, what a web we weave. Thought they didn't have anything to do with those investigators at all. The investigator said in their statement, Jay-Z, I'm not hired by him or any of his attorneys. In fact, they never even stated who they were hired by and how they found that girl. How they know that's that girl. But remember, 3 days after that girl went on that interview, Tony Buzbee, Lord Jesus have mercy. It's all making sense to me right now. Tony Buzbee still has that other lawsuit. Tony Buzbee, in my opinion, he wanted to pull Jay-Z. He knew Jay-Z was going to be a big dog. Tisa, I love your channel. I know you listening, girl. I love what you do, but I think you're wrong about Tony Buzbee. And I say this with respect to you. You said that Tony Buzbee messed up on that interview. He didn't mess up on that interview. Tony Buzbee did exactly what he knew he was going to do, which was he knew that if he did that public interview, Tony Buzbee had been playing these strings all along with these people. Tony Buzbee knew that if he, hold on, y'all. He knew that if he pulled out that interview, Tony Buzbee knew that Jay-Z's lawyers were going to respond. He knew that. He knew that. He wanted them on public record saying what Alex Spyro said. In my opinion, Spyro went out there and did exactly what he wanted them to do. That's my opinion, which is go out there and deny the claims in front of everybody. Say that they had, and Spyro went out there 3 days later, right on cue, and went in. And I told you guys, I believe more than ever now that this is what Tony Buzbee was setting up, because he had to ace up his sleeve. This man had a royal flush, in my opinion. And I believe that he was going to get to Discovery and put his cards all out on the table. That way, he put them in a situation where they couldn't get out of saying that he wasn't nowhere at this part, because if he could put him at that event, that doesn't prove Jay-Z's guilty, but that would have made a lot of people say, hold on now. People dogged that girl's story because they made it seem like it was impossible that they could have even been there in the same place at the same time that night. Boy, this thing is fitting to get, I'm telling y'all, one of these lawyers is going to be in major trouble. I don't know which one, but one of them is going to be in major trouble. One of them lying, big time, because they're both saying starkly different stories. They both have starkly different interviews, unless the girl lied to both of them. But if that's the case, if you're Alex Spiro, why would you use a tape where she admits that Jay-Z was there if he wasn't there? There ain't no way I'm using that tape. I'm not using that tape because that she would have been lied. I'm not using that tape because she'd have been lied. Ain't no way in hell I'm using that tape. She'd have been a liar. Right? Straight like that. She would have been a liar. Right? I'm telling y'all what it is. Telling y'all what it is. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. So when you look at that situation, right? When you look at that situation, man, Lord have mercy, y'all. Oh, what a well we weave. Listen up, y'all. Listen up.
She says, in no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this.
Now,
But Jay-Z was, you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him.
With Jay-Z. Buzbee did?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively obtained a minute-long excerpt of the recording made days after the woman, identified as Jane Doe, permanently dropped her lawsuit against both.
so again, that would mean this girl could be lying. She could be lying to Alex Spiro, or to the private investigators, and she could be lying to Buzbee. We don't know. But I know one thing. Why would Alex Spiro use a tape in which this girl say that Jay-Z was there if he was never there? Ain't no way I'm using that tape. I'm not using the tape to say, hey, well, part of what she's saying is true, but nah, it ain't gonna work like that. It ain't gonna work like that. Then the biggest question in the room: who paid the private investigators to do the work? How did those private investigators find the girl, and what made them interested in finding the girl? Alex Spiro said. He said it right there on TV. The private investigator said in her statement, and she swore she was not hired by Jay-Z's attorneys or anybody or Jay-Z. But Alex Spiro says, oh, well, people around Jay-Z. So that's who hired the private investigators to find the girl? People around Jay-Z?
Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for it.
They asked for her to be interviewed. The people around Mr. Carter asked for her to be interviewed. But he said Jay-Z didn't know her identity. But on December the 16th, he said he wasn't going to unmask her today when that reporter asked him at the press conference, did he know her identity? Then he went on to say on December the 23rd in that writing, and I have it on paper, that Jay-Z, until that day, didn't know the identity of her. And he says Jay-Z doesn't know her. Hold on, let's play this right here.
Made days after the woman identified as Jane Doe permanently dropped her lawsuit against both Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself. She says, in no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
By a lawyer? But you're saying in the lawsuit, it's Tony Buzbee. Why you ain't saying Tony Buzbee now? You know why? Because they went and dropped the Eat the Napalm bomb in that New York Times article that showed y'all it wasn't Tony Buzbee behind that 1-800 number. So is Alex Spiro and Jay-Z going to drop the lawsuit against Tony Buzbee now? Because Tony Buzbee said the lawsuit's going to get thrown out because he said it's frivolous. That would Tony Buzbee say.
In no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
The accuser's lawyer, Tony Buzbee, called it a blatant lie that he pushed Jane Doe to sue Jay-Z, and he sent us this recording of a phone call with his client.
They say that they have you on tape denying that Jay-Z assaulted you. Is that true?
No. I don't. I've never said that.
Okay. They also say that you told them, and they have it on tape, that I, Tony Buzbee, told you to came up with this plan and told you to say that Jay-Z assaulted you so you would get more money.
No.
Jane Doe said in a court filing, although I ultimately chose not to pursue them, I stand by my claims. She says in a sworn declaration that she felt intimidated and terrified at being confronted by these two individuals on my doorstep. Was she coerced in any way?
Of course not.
How does he know that? If he did not hire those private investigators, how does Alex Spiro know that this girl was not? Do they have video? Because if you don't know these private investigators, you got to have some type of evidence to know that she wasn't pressed. Do you got video? Show us the video. Show us the video. Let us see the video of those terms then. Because how can Alex Spiro tell us that, oh, this girl, she wasn't under no distress. She wasn't. How can he say that if he wasn't there? Did he see a tape?
In a sworn declaration that she felt intimidated and terrified at being confronted by these two individuals on my doorstep. Was she coerced in any way?
Of course not. They did not coerce her, promise or threaten her in any way, shape, or form. She voluntarily met and spoke to them, and she told them her truth, which was, under no circumstances did Mr. Carter do this. And number two, the only reason he's even involved in this is she was pushed to introduce him by a lawyer.
By a lawyer. And not by Tony Buzbee now, but y'all suing Tony Buzbee, right? Right? Mm-hmm.
That they had, especially on his kids. How as a father, has he tried to handle this?
It's tough to hear a false lie said about you, spread through the internet, and affecting your children. It's tough on him. It's tough on anybody. But what he does is he proves himself innocent. Today is hopefully the final chapter in that, and then they're going to move forward.
I don't think Tony Buzbee's thinking this is the final chapter, because Tony Buzbee still got lawsuits against y'all. I don't think Tony Buzbee think this is over with. Man, I'm telling y'all this right now, bro. This situation, man, in my opinion, they should let this one just ride once that girl left, and you know, because there was nobody that was pressing this thing. He says people close to Jay-Z. If the girl dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, why would people around Jay-Z want to know the truth? Because everybody, the whole internet was praising Jay-Z. Oh yeah, it's over with. That girl lied. When she dropped the lawsuit with prejudice, the whole web was praising Jay-Z. The whole internet. Man, bro, I tell y'all this, man. Tony Buzbee have been controlling this thing all the way through. I'm telling y'all, bro. He been controlling every play. When she did that interview, y'all all said he was stupid. I said, no, he wasn't. Tony Buzbee was sitting right there. He knew what he was doing. Tony Buzbee wanted to go out to the public. He Eminem'd the whole situation. What do you mean by saying Eminem ticket? This is what I mean. Go back to the movie M was in. How did M win that rap battle? He gave all his flaws publicly before dude could even get on a mic and say something about him. So Tony Buzbee says, you know what? Since your story does have some inconsistencies in it, you stand by your allegations, but your story does have let's get out in front of this. I'm gonna put you out here in front of the world, so the whole world now they gonna come at you hard, but we gonna stand on business. Tony Buzbee did that knowing that Spiral and them was gonna jump all over that. And they did exactly what Tony Buzbee thought they was going to do, in my opinion. They came out, did that whole press conference, did all of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? You got to think like legal minds think. Tony Buzbee out here thinking 20 steps ahead of people. He knew if he came to New York, he was going to have to play big boy ball. And when to play big boy ball, you got to play by big boy rules. And Tony Buzbee, in my opinion, he smoked them out. He got them on public record out here denying that there was any way that this party, after party, any of this stuff could have existed. But now, and I think Tony did that knowing he had to ace up his sleeve, knowing that once he got to Discovery, he was going to drop that royal flush, boom, and show alleged evidence. You know, Tony may have had evidence to prove that he could put people in certain places together at certain times. And again, that doesn't say that Jay-Z is guilty of that crime. But what that would have done was that instantly would have changed the mindset of everybody. Because everybody was riding with the fact that, oh, she's lying. There's no way they could have been there. So now if Tony would have came out and showed that, then that changed the whole game. I don't see Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, going off on this girl's statement saying that Jay-Z was there. He didn't say nothing about that in that interview. He only wanted to state one part of that alleged interview where she said that Jay-Z didn't do nothing to her. So is that the case, that Jay was there, but they thought that the public opinion would destroy Jay and people wouldn't believe him? Bro, just keep it real. People would have been like, okay, look, if you kept it real, you know what I'm saying? The real ones would have stood 10 toes. I told y'all, I like Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z's a great rapper. I don't know him as a person. I like him as a rapper. I have no reason to not, you know what I'm saying? Real talk. But I see something in front of my face. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and act like I don't see what it is. You're supposed to be equal and even to all people. Not just rich people. Not just wealthy people. Because when we all get up out of here, guess what? All that money, jewelry, all that shit don't mean nothing. Right back on the even playing field again. You understand? I'm telling y'all this right now, man. This situation is going to turn ugly. And I think Tony Buzbee is going to turn the heat up. And then they smoked him out again. They smoked him out again. When he did that lawsuit saying that, oh, it was Tony Buzbee that forced that girl to come forward and put Jay-Z's name in it. Tony Buzbee sitting back laughing like, you really think that was me? Y'all been sitting up here calling me this 1-800 lawyer the whole time. That shit wasn't even my number. I don't own none of that shit. The dude whose number it was, who pushed it, was him. Andrew Van Arsdale from the Ava Law Group. That was the one. That's why now Alex Spiro's on that interview on TV saying a lawyer. I'm telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all this. Y'all finna see. So he got hit with a ton of bricks because Tony Buzbee knew. Think about this, y'all. Tony Buzbee could have took this to the Houston Chronicles. He's from Houston. He could have took this to Texas and had this on the front page. He said, no, nigga, I'm going to New York City. I'm going to your state. I'm going to your city. And I'm going to put that shit in a big major newspaper and blast all of this stuff. And then what happens 2 days later? He's playing with these dudes, in my opinion. 3 days after he did that interview with that girl on NBC, Alex Spiro comes out and does a PowerPoint presentation on December the 16th. They did the interview on December the 13th. Spiro comes out December the 16th. This article came out on the 9th. Came out on the 9th. And on the 12th, here comes Alex Spiro doing that interview on the 12th. Y'all gonna see it. It's right there in front of all of y'all. Y'all gonna see it. It's right there. Y'all gonna see it. Shout out to Alexandra too, coming through with a $100 donation this morning too. Appreciate you on that. Let me see. Hold on. I got somebody else in here too. Dog. Hey, shout out to the brother Jared in the Cash App with the donation. I appreciate you, man. Salute. Ernest Brown, I appreciate you. Also, shout out to Tasha Inspires. I appreciate you for the donation. Jim, salute to you. Tasha Inspires again, salute to you. Natalia, salute to you. You sent 2 ones. Tasha Inspires, salute to you again. Natalia, salute to you again. Tasha Inspires, salute to you again. Salute to all the people that supporting the channel, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Man, this thing is crazy, man. You know, and I hope Jay-Z's innocent, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. I told you I like Jay-Z as a rapper, bro. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to y'all. Not gonna sit up here and lie to y'all, man. But at the same time, man, you know, you gotta stand for honor, dignity, morals, ethics, respect, things like that. You gotta stand for that stuff. If you don't stand for that type of stuff, you don't stand for nothing. You don't stand for nothing. You know? And so, hey, man, I'm just trying to tell y'all, man, I told y'all, Tony Buzbee, y'all kept going along with the public narrative. That's the thing I hate. People always go along with the public narrative state instead of doing their own homework. Y'all tried to gang up on Tony Buzbee and say he wasn't this. He's 1-800 lawyer. The 1-800 number wasn't even his. Wasn't even his. He was just one of the many law groups that was handed cases that had already been vetted that he continued to vet. Y'all didn't even want to get to hear the evidence. Y'all was just like, oh, no, he capping, he lying. Bro, that's why I said a lot of people would not make good judges. To make a good judge, you have to be able to listen to both sides and process all the information, not just one side. If you're a judge, think about this, y'all. If you a judge in life, that's why a lot of y'all know y'all couldn't be judges, because y'all act off rash decisions. If you a judge in life, you cannot act off rash decisions. If you're a judge, you have to take your feelings and your emotions out of the situation. If you a judge, you got to sit back and listen to both sides completely. I can't be convinced after I listen to one side. I need to listen to the other side. I need to listen to the other side. You know? In all situations. That's why I said I wait for everything. I'm waiting for this to go to court. Because now people are going to have to show evidence. And if they can't show it, now that's their ass. You know? And so there's a lot of questions. How did they find this girl? How did they know where to find her? All of these questions haven't even been answered. This girl's anonymous. How in the hell did they find her? How did they find her? She's anonymous. How did they find this girl and this girl's anonymous? Make it make sense, y'all. Nobody's asking that question. How did they find her? She's anonymous. How can, and then if you're anonymous, you pull up on me. You think, y'all think that girl, that she filed the lawsuit anonymous for a reason. She filed the lawsuit anonymous for a reason. Shout out to the brother Delbert in the Cash App with a $55 donation. Salute to you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, dog. Now imagine this. You file a lawsuit anonymous and then somebody pop up on your doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Antoinette, please don't disrespect Tisa. You said she thinks she's so smart. She is smart. She's intelligent. But we only human beings. We can all think of things and maybe overthink or underthink something. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you this or that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that, man. It does not mean that. You know? Because most people thought that Tony Buzbee put that number up there. Most people thought that. Renee said they be hating on Tisa. Yeah, some of them be hating on Tisa because they know she look good. For real, for real. You understand what I'm saying? Tisa, one of them joints look good without no makeup on. Facts. You dig? And that's just what it is. But yeah, I'm just telling y'all, like, you know, most people thought that Tony Buzbee had that 1-800 number. Simple as that. You know, most people thought that it was Tony Buzbee that was, you know, how in the hell you taking all of these? Remember when they first came out and said Tony Buzbee said that they had gotten like 16,000 calls or something like that. Everybody like, how in the hell you doing all that? It wasn't Tony Buzbee. it was Reciprocity Industries owned by Mr. Arsdale. Tony was just the mouthpiece that was up there. He represents the Buzbee law firm, not He doesn't own or doesn't found Reciprocity Industries, who's in charge of those 1-800 numbers. He doesn't run the Ava Law Group. So, yeah. Right? I'm just keeping it real. So most people thought, oh, Tony's messing this up. When he did the interview, oh, he's messing this up. Nah, he knew what he was doing. Tony just didn't know that girl was going to shake up like that. Sometimes clients do that, man. Sometimes clients get scared when because you see the pressure now, because, you know, when you got a big fan base, man, people coming at you. You know what I'm saying? Antoinette says, Ticket, you want to mention me, not cool. What do you mean I want to mention you? I'm just keeping it real about what you said. I don't have no disdain towards you. You cool, Antoinette. I know disdain towards you, and I wasn't, and I'm not just specifically talking about you when I said that. I'm talking about in general. You know, I see a lot of people online hating on Tisha. They hating on the girl because she look good. Simple as that. They hating on her because she look good. You know, and she doing her thing. A lot of people think girls that look good like that is incapable of being able to, you understand, which is crazy. You know. And we all, like I said, we all human. We all get things or certain things wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or we look at certain things in a different way. You know what I mean? I truly believe that. I truly believe that. You know? But I think Tony Buzbee, I think a lot of people looked at this thing wrong because they thought Tony Buzbee was the one that was fielding all those calls and doing all that stuff because he said that. But it wasn't him. It was the Ava Law Group. So everybody was coming at Tony like, oh, look at you, man. Man, they got a whole 100 people team, 100 law firm team. So once again, if you playing football, the snapper is the client. They give their allegations in their case to the middleman, which is Reciprocity Industries. That's the 1-800 number, right? To the quarterback. And the quarterback hands it off to one of these law firms. Whether it be his, whether it be Tony Buzbee's, whether it be one in Arizona. Because when you're dealing with this many cases, all these law firms don't have the manpower to deal with all those cases. So they say, hey, man, look, we partners, we cool. I'm going to send you some of these cases right here. So, like I said, in the article, it said he sent Tony Buzbee 200 cases. It says it right there on the last line. It said they sent him 200 files. Out of the 26,000, they had 600, sent him 200. There's no way one law firm is going to take 600 cases like that. No way. So you hand 200 here, 100 here, 150 here to these different law firms that have enough people, that have enough manpower to deal with those cases. Which is crazy for y'all to know that there's still all these potential cases that are still out here. They ain't even filed yet. You know what I mean? Trying to tell y'all, man. So it's all about who you believe, though, man. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm going to say this again. Alex Spiro and them, both sides could be getting lied to. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? They could have went to, but then again, you know, like I said before, you never know. You know? You never know. This is one of them situations where we got to see how things play out. I want to see what Tony Buzbee is going to come with next in the aftermath of this interview. Because you know Tony Buzbee is going to come with something next. And Tony Buzbee is still fighting that situation with those cases. He got to file pro hac visa. And, you know, it could be hard for him in New York, being that that's not his home state. You going in there, you know what I'm saying, trying to open up shop. It can make it hard for you. So, Antoinette says she's a public person. I'm not. Nah, ain't no disrespect to you, Antoinette. You cool. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of love for you over here. A lot of, you know what I'm saying? Respect for you. I ain't tripping like that. You know? I'm just keeping it 100 though. You know? I be seeing a lot of people trying to do that to her. And I don't think that's cool because, you know, she put time into her content. You could tell she do. You know? She listened to these videos. She ain't got to say it, but she listened. Just like we listen to her channel, you know? So it is what it is. You know? I ain't trying to hit on her, but I know one thing. Whoever they say she got a man, well shit, that nigga he got to put a ring on that. That's facts. You know what I'm saying? That's facts, bro. You did? Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. You know? Oh, man, bro. Hey, man, salute to everybody that tapped in, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Hey, man, y'all stay up, man. I'm gone, man. Appreciate all y'all support. Hey, and don't y'all forget, man, subscribe to the podcast show. I'm gonna be dropping more content on the podcast show today. Salute to all the new subscribers to the podcast too. I had probably about what, 20 or 25 new subscribers to the podcast show yesterday. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the podcast show. I'm gonna be going on the podcast show in about 2 hours. I'm gonna drop more content on the podcast show today in about 2 hours, man. Man, these people crazy as hell out here in this world, man. And if y'all on the podcast, y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. If you on the podcast show. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put a link at the top of the comments. I'm gonna put a link. There it go right there. There it go right there. All you gotta do is go right there to that website right there. There it go right there. You know what I mean? We'll go put that up there. He did. As y'all see it right there on the screen, man. Yeah, man, y'all stay blessed too, man. It's all about being blessed, you know, and giving God the thanks, man. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. But yeah, y'all definitely let me know what y'all feel on this, man. Subscribe to that podcast show, y'all. You know what I mean? I'll be on the podcast show in a couple hours. Probably about 2 hours. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Peace. And that's for everybody who really supports the channel. Matter of fact, let me pin that link right to the top of the chat right now. You know, we're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers over there, man, on the podcast. So let me put that link at the chat. Press 1 if you guys are going to go subscribe to the podcast. Press 1 in the comments if y'all are going to go subscribe to the podcast. I just pinned it at the top of the chat, y'all. All you got to do is click that little blue link, and it's going to take you right over there. So press 1 if you guys are going to subscribe to the podcast. Yeah, yesterday we got like, we got 70 subscribers yesterday. Man, salute to all of y'all, bro. We got 70 new subscribers yesterday. I'm looking at the podcast right now. So we headed towards 5,000 subscribers. So let's get 5,000 subscribers on the podcast, you guys. Let's do that. Let's get up to 5,000, then we go get to 6. And like I said, I'll be over there today because I want to talk about a couple things on the podcast. Today I want to talk about a couple things on the podcast today. So yeah, y'all definitely let me know what y'all think, man. Salute to all of y'all that's tapped in, man. You dig? Most deaf. Most deaf. All right, I'm going, man. All right, you guys. So we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym, work out, exercise, and do what you got to do. Stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.